On a distant planet far beyond the reaches of the galaxy's common trade routes, there lay a kingdom of shimmering towers and glowing gardens. The skies were painted with colors no human eye had ever seen, and the air shimmered faintly, carrying scents of flowers that could change their smell with the wind. This was the home of the alien king, a ruler known across the stars for his wisdom and power. Within the golden walls of the palace, Princess Lyra, the king's beautiful daughter, walked through a garden filled with luminous plants. Her hair glimmered with a soft silver light, and her eyes reflected the colors of the alien sky. She loved exploring her world, but a sense of restlessness often shadowed her bright spirit. No matter what she tried, nothing seemed to bring the excitement she craved. Lately, there was one thing that had caught her imagination more than anything else: Earth foods. Stories of distant worlds often reached the palace through traders and travelers. Tales of humans, their culture, and especially the flavors of their meals, fascinated Lyra. She had tasted some foods that came from Earth, but they had been mere shadows of the real thing, recreated poorly by the palace chefs. The delicate tastes, the juicy fruits, the baked breads, the rich spices, nothing satisfied her fully. "I wish I could taste the real thing," Lyra said softly, staring at a glowing orange fruit that was supposed to resemble an earth mango. She took a bite and frowned. It smelled like the real thing but lacked the depth, the burst of flavor that she had read about. The chefs tried their best, but Lyra's curiosity could not be quenched by imitation. One morning, a strange ship appeared over the palace. It glided silently through the sky, its sleek metal body reflecting the light of the twin suns. Lyra watched from her balcony as the ship descended into the royal landing grounds. The palace guards formed a perfect line, ready for the arrival of the visitor. The ship's hatch opened and a human stepped out. He looked small and fragile compared to the towering palace guards, but there was a spark of intelligence in his eyes. His clothes were simple, and a small satchel hung at his side. His name was Alex, and he had come as part of a diplomatic mission from Earth, invited to share knowledge and, most importantly, Earth cuisine with the alien world. Lyra felt a thrill of excitement. She had read reports about this human, his creativity in cooking, his ability to combine flavors in ways no one had thought possible. She had never met a human before, and the thought of someone from that distant world stepping onto her planet made her pulse quicken. Alex was greeted with the formal honors of the palace. The alien king himself observed from a distance, his expression unreadable. He was cautious about humans. They were clever, adaptable, and surprisingly brave for their size. But he trusted his daughter's judgment, and Lyra's interest in the human's abilities gave him reason to allow the visit. "Welcome to our planet," the king's voice rumbled, deep and resonant. "We hope your journey was comfortable." Alex bowed respectfully. "Thank you, Your Majesty. It is an honor to be here. I hope to learn about your world and share a small part of mine." Lyra watched from the side, curiosity sparkling in her eyes. She wanted to speak, to ask questions, but she restrained herself. This was the first human she had ever seen. She wanted to observe him, to understand how he moved, how he thought before speaking. The palace chefs escorted Alex to the royal kitchens, which were enormous halls filled with strange tools and ingredients that glowed softly under the alien light. Alex's eyes widened as he took in the sights. He had studied alien ingredients before arriving, but seeing them in person was different. Some plants hummed gently, some liquids shimmered like molten crystals, and spices floated in midair until captured in special containers. Lyra followed quietly, watching the human carefully. She noticed how he examined the ingredients, touching them lightly, sniffing, making small notes on a pad he carried. There was a careful patience in his movements, a deep respect for the materials. She felt a strange admiration for him. "You may begin when ready," said the chief palace chef, who had been skeptical of a human cooking in their kitchens. Alex smiled. "Thank you. I will do my best." He began with simple preparations, showing his skill in combining flavors. He took alien fruits and vegetables and mixed them with his knowledge of earth spices. He carefully roasted, boiled, and blended ingredients. The palace chefs watched nervously, unsure if this small human could produce anything worthy of a princess's taste. When the first dish was ready, Alex placed it on a silver tray and carried it to Princess Lyra. She took a cautious bite. The moment the flavors touched her tongue, her eyes widened. The sweetness, the tang, the subtle warmth. It was unlike anything she had tasted before. She felt a shiver of delight run through her body. This is incredible," Lyra whispered. Her voice was filled with wonder. She looked at Alex, whose simple smile radiated confidence and kindness. "I never thought anything could taste like this. It is more beautiful than I imagined." Alex bowed slightly. "I am glad you enjoy it, Princess. There is much more I can share if you wish to continue." Lyra's eyes shone with excitement. "Yes, I want to taste everything." As the sun set over the glowing towers, Lyra realized that this human was not just a visitor. He was a spark of something new, something exciting. For the first time in her life, she felt that her curiosity could truly be satisfied. And for Alex, he felt the thrill of discovery too. This world was unlike anything he had imagined, and the chance to share his earthly knowledge with its most curious resident promised adventures he could not yet foresee. The next morning, the palace was filled with a quiet excitement. "Princess." Lyra could hardly wait to see the human again. Alex had promised to show her more earth foods, and her mind buzzed with curiosity. She wore a simple dress that shimmered like starlight, her silver hair falling neatly over her shoulders. Today she decided she would taste everything Alex had to offer. In the grand palace kitchen, Alex was already preparing. The alien ingredients glowed softly around him, and the air smelled faintly sweet and spicy. He carefully examined each item, thinking of ways to mix them with the flavors of Earth. He had learned that some alien spices could transform simple dishes into extraordinary experiences. When Lyra entered, Alex looked up and smiled warmly. "Princess Lyra," he said politely, "I hope you are ready for today's tastes." Lyra's eyes sparkled. "I am ready," she replied. She stepped closer to the work tables, fascinated by the strange fruits and liquids. Some of the ingredients floated in small bubbles and others changed color when touched. Alex began with a small dish. He combined an alien root with a spice from Earth to create a warm, savory flavor. He called it Earthling stew, though it looked very different from anything Lyra had eaten before. She took a careful bite, and her eyes widened. This is amazing," she whispered, unable to hide her delight. The flavors were rich and new, but somehow comforting. It was like tasting the memory of something she had never known. Alex smiled. "I'm glad you like it. This is only the beginning." He quickly moved on to a dessert. He had created a sweet treat using glowing alien berries mixed with a creamy earth sauce. The mixture shimmered like a tiny galaxy in a bowl. Lyra picked up a spoon and tasted it. Her eyes sparkled even brighter. "It melts in my mouth. It's like magic," she exclaimed. She could hardly believe that such flavors existed in the world. Her curiosity deepened, and she leaned closer to watch Alex work. "You seem very interested in cooking, Princess," Alex said, noticing her keen observation. "Would you like to try making something yourself?" Lyra's heart jumped. "Me? Can I really?" "Yes," Alex said kindly. "I can guide you." For the first time, Lyra stepped behind the work table herself. Alex showed her how to measure, mix, and balance flavors. At first, her hands shook as she handled the ingredients, but Alex encouraged her patiently. Slowly, she began to understand the way flavors could complement one another. "Try adding a little of this spice," Alex suggested. Lyra followed his instruction, and a warm, fragrant aroma filled the kitchen. She tasted her creation and gasped. It's wonderful. I made it myself." Alex chuckled softly. "Yes, you did. And you have a very good sense of taste." As the day went on, Lyra tried more dishes. Alex experimented with alien vegetables, earth spices, and even the floating berries that glowed in midair. Each creation surprised her, and each bite brought new delight. She laughed when a sweet dish unexpectedly fizzed in her mouth, and she clapped her hands in excitement at a savory dish that had a deep, smoky flavor. The palace chefs watched in amazement. At first, they had doubted the small human's abilities, but now they saw how the princess reacted. Her joy was clear and her laughter was infectious. Even the normally serious chefs found themselves smiling. "You have brought something wonderful to our palace," one of the chefs said quietly to the other. "Not just food, but excitement. She has never been this happy before." Lyra, meanwhile, could not stop asking questions. "How did you think of this flavor? Why does it taste so lively?" Alex smiled. "On Earth, we believe that food is more than just taste. It carries feelings, memories, and stories. I try to share that with every dish." Lyra's eyes widened. "Stories and food. I never thought of that. It makes eating feel alive." The next morning, Princess Lyra woke with a sense of excitement that made her heart race. Yesterday's tasting had been unforgettable, and today promised even more. She hurried through the palace corridors, her silver hair catching the morning light until she reached the grand kitchen where Alex was already busy at work. "Good morning, Princess Lyra," Alex said, smiling as he chopped strange alien vegetables with precision. "I have a few new ideas for today. Are you ready to explore them?" Lyra nodded eagerly. "Yes. I want to learn everything you can teach me." Alex handed her a small tray of ingredients. "These are a few earth staples I have brought with me. Combined with some local plants, we will see what flavors we can create together." Lyra studied the ingredients with fascination. Some glowed softly, others floated in tiny bubbles. She had never seen anything like it. She watched closely as Alex began experimenting. He carefully mixed alien roots with earth spices, roasted glowing fruits over a gentle flame, and even made a simple bread using a strange alien grain. "Try tasting this," Alex said, offering her a small spoonful of a rich, aromatic mixture. Lyra put it in her mouth and her eyes widened in surprise. The flavors danced together perfectly, a warm, sweet, and slightly tangy taste she had never experienced before. "It's incredible," she whispered. "It feels like the flavors are alive." Alex laughed softly. "That is the magic of combining worlds. You never know what can happen when you experiment." For the next few hours, the two of them worked side by side, creating dish after dish. Lyra began to understand the balance of flavors, how a little of one spice could change the entire taste of a dish, and how textures were just as important as flavor. She laughed when a dessert she had made fizzed unexpectedly, and she clapped her hands in delight when a savory dish released a fragrant aroma that filled the kitchen. The palace chefs watched in amazement. They had been skeptical at first, doubting that a human could truly succeed in their complex kitchen. But seeing the princess's joy and the innovative dishes they created together, they were slowly convinced. Some of the chefs even began offering suggestions, curious to see what new flavors might emerge. Lyra's favorite part of the day was when Alex allowed her to experiment freely. He would guide her when needed but encouraged her to trust her instincts. She discovered that she had a natural talent for creating flavor combinations that were unusual but delicious. At one point, Lyra picked up a small, glowing fruit and mixed it with an earth spice she had never used before. The mixture bubbled and shimmered, releasing a scent so sweet and spicy that Alex had to take a careful breath. Lyra tasted it, and her eyes sparkled. "It's amazing. It's like nothing I have ever eaten before," she exclaimed. Alex smiled, proudly. "You are learning quickly. Soon you will be creating dishes that no one on this planet or any other has ever tasted." As the day went on, they decided to try something more ambitious, a fusion dish that combined multiple earth and alien ingredients. They roasted, blended, and stirred, carefully observing how each element changed the flavors. Lyra learned to adjust spices, cook textures perfectly, and even present the dishes in a way that made them look as beautiful as they tasted. "This is like magic," Lyra said, laughing as a colorful swirl of sauce glowed in the light. "I never knew cooking could be so exciting." Alex chuckled. "Cooking is more than just preparing food. It is a way to explore, to create, and to share happiness." The princess realized that this was true. Each dish was not only delicious, but also a story. A journey of flavors that connected her with the distant world of Earth and with Alex. She felt her curiosity and excitement growing stronger with every bite. By afternoon, they were joined by a few of the palace chefs who wanted to learn from Alex's techniques. Lyra watched as Alex patiently explained the steps, guiding both the princess and the chefs. The kitchen became a lively place of discovery, with laughter and chatter filling the air. Even the normally serious palace staff couldn't help but smile. At one point, a minor accident occurred. Lyra accidentally spilled a glowing liquid over a tray of prepared dessert. She froze, worried that she had ruined the dish. Alex quickly moved to her side and whispered, "Sometimes accidents lead to something even better. Let's see what happens." To their surprise, the spilled mixture transformed into a soft, sparkling pudding, with a flavor far richer than they had expected. Lyra laughed, her eyes shining with delight. "It's perfect, even better than before." As the twin suns began to set, casting a warm glow over the kitchen, Lyra and Alex stepped back to admire their creations. There were dishes of all colors, shapes, and flavors, each one unique and delicious. The princess felt a deep sense of happiness and pride. "You have changed the kitchen today," Lyra said, smiling at Alex. "It's not just the food. It's the way it makes everyone feel. I've never been this happy before." Alex nodded. "That is the true joy of cooking. When you share your creativity, you share happiness too." Lyra looked around the kitchen, at the glowing fruits, the steaming dishes, and the smiling chefs. She realized that Alex had brought more than earth flavors into her world. He had brought inspiration, curiosity, and a new way to see life itself. As night fell, the princess returned to her chambers, her mind still buzzing with excitement. She could hardly wait for the next day, for the next dish, and for the next adventure in the kitchen. Alex had opened a door to a world she had never imagined, and she knew that this was only the beginning of something extraordinary. In the quiet palace halls, the hum of alien lights reflected her excitement. Princess Lyra lay awake that night, dreaming of flavors, textures, and colors. She realized that food was more than nourishment. It was a way to connect, to explore, and to discover joy in the simplest of things. And for Alex, the day had been a reminder that sharing knowledge could create friendship, curiosity, and magic across worlds. He knew that with Lyra's curiosity and his earthly skills, they were only beginning to uncover the limitless possibilities of taste, creativity, and imagination. The day of the festival had finally arrived. The palace was alive with color, music, and laughter. Banners in every shade of the rainbow fluttered in the gentle breeze, and the streets were filled with citizens excited to celebrate. Today was not just a royal event. It was a festival of friendship, of flavors, and of discovery. "Princess." Lyra moved through the palace halls with a bright smile. Her silver hair glimmered in the sunlight, and her eyes sparkled with excitement. She had been helping Alex plan the festival for days, and she could hardly wait to see the reactions of the guests. This was her chance to share the wonders of earth foods with the entire kingdom. Alex was already in the grand kitchen, preparing dishes that combined the best of earth and alien ingredients. The alien chefs, who had once been skeptical of the human, now worked alongside him with respect and curiosity. Together they had created a menu filled with colors, aromas, and flavors that no one had ever experienced before. "Princess Lyra," Alex said, glancing up from a tray of glowing desserts, "are you ready to help me present these dishes?" Lyra nodded eagerly. "Yes, I want everyone to taste them. I want them to feel the same excitement I did when I first tried your food." The festival began in the grand courtyard, filled with dignitaries, nobles, and citizens from across the planet. The air was alive with chatter, laughter, and the soft hum of music from alien instruments. Lyra walked beside Alex as they brought out the first dishes, carefully arranged on silver platters. The guests paused, intrigued by the vibrant colors and unusual shapes. Many of them had never seen earth foods or the strange ways Alex had combined them with local ingredients. Lyra's heart raced as she watched their curiosity turn into delight with the first taste. "This is incredible," one noble said, eyes wide as the flavors unfolded on his tongue. "I have never experienced anything like this." Lyra's excitement grew with each reaction. She had never seen her world so alive, so curious, and so open to new experiences. Alex smiled quietly beside her, his calm presence reassuring her as they continued to serve dish after dish. Some of the more traditional guests were hesitant at first. They exchanged nervous glances, unsure if Earth flavors could truly complement their local cuisine. Lyra noticed their hesitation and stepped forward, her voice gentle but full of confidence. "Please try it," she said warmly. "These flavors are different, yes, but they carry joy and excitement. You may find something wonderful waiting for you." Her words had an effect. One by one, the skeptical guests tasted the dishes. Their eyes widened, smiles spreading across their faces. Whispers of delight and surprise filled the courtyard. The festival was turning into a celebration not just of food, but of curiosity, openness, and shared happiness. Alex worked alongside Lyra, explaining the flavors and ingredients to the guests who asked. He demonstrated how some alien spices could enhance Earth flavors, and how small adjustments could change the taste in magical ways. The guests were fascinated, asking questions and trying small experiments themselves under Alex's guidance. Meanwhile, Lyra moved among the crowd, watching the reactions and enjoying the joy that food could bring. She laughed when a small group of